So we are a little over 8 months away from the next cinematic outing of James Gunn's DCU, and oh boy, I know I can't wait to watch this and not make $400 million and see all of the suck-offs just go ahead and try to spin it as an absolute triumph, and how Supergirl soared to a historic level of success, but we'll have plenty of time to go over that when those articles and posts start to pop up. But what is coming out right now is, well, everybody's kind of taking a look back at the performance of Superman and going, wow, that was a lot of money wasted. And depending on the day, Forbes will either say, oh yeah, no, it's scheduled to lose about 80 to $100 million, or if they're feeling awfully generous on the day, saying that it's already made like the $115 million. It really doesn't much matter because the numbers are out there for the world to see. And if as Superman failed to turn a profit, what do you think Supergirl is going to do next year? I can't wait. I legitimately can't wait to watch this just go down in flames, because I was somewhat optimistic. If you guys can go back and take a look at the videos, okay? I'm not the biggest James Gunn fan specifically, but because there was some stability at the top of DC, I thought that there was some potential to perhaps assemble a cast of characters that could go ahead and pay proper tribute and homage to these characters, and we might actually get something competent. But nope, so far it's been 0 for 2 with Superman and Peacemaker, and now with Supergirl on the horizon. I mean, it's really looking like more of the same as James Gunn shoots down Forbes' Supergirl budget claims. Because yeah, we got our first reported budget. I'd imagine that this is probably just, some made up numbers or something like that. It's probably nothing as concrete as the word of James Gunn. Simply Forbes is, citing these dubious sources like, I don't know, Ohio tax receipts. Who knows, man? But let's take a look. So a new Forbes Australia profile on Millie Alcock claims that Supergirl's movie, yes, has a $200 million budget. Totally makes sense. If that were true, the break-even point would land around $500 million, but because this is one of the biggest films of the year, and Superman had $125 million, at least what they'll cop to, $125 million marketing budget, do you really think $50 million in on and around that is somewhere fair to factor in for the break-even point? Yeah, I don't think so. If that were true, yes, break-even point would land somewhere around 500 mil. Which this film is not even gonna sniff, okay? Because Alcock is Australian, the director Craig Gillespie is Australian. The article reads as the writer has inside knowledge. The problem, it appears that Forbes lets almost anyone write for the site. And there's a lot of reporting his opinion dressed up as industry expertise. Fair enough. Forbes wrote, the mix of naivete and composure has defined her rise to success. In just 5 years, Alcock has gone from inner West Sydney to global recognition in House of the Dragon, and soon a superhero suit. Her name now sits beside Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow logo, but it's not Woman of Tomorrow anymore now, is it? A $200 million DC feature directed by fellow Australian Craig Gillespie. Oh, just go ahead and slide that in right there, hey? Okay. A fan immediately ran to Gunn on Threads to confirm, and Gunn replied, not even a little bit true. So apparently, the claim is false. Whether the real number is higher or lower isn't clear, but Gunn wouldn't correct it unless it was way off. And yes, it's worth noting, Gunn also, denied early Superman budget reports that multiple outlets, including Forbes themselves, stated the final number ended up closer to $350 million. Yes, that's from the Ohio state tax receipts, where Superman was primarily filmed, but James chalked that one up to, just somebody incorrectly filled out tax documents, so just casually admitting to tax fraud as to try to make his Superman movie appear to be profitable. Strange gamble, but hey man, there are some suck-offs that are out there that it worked on, so good for him. So yeah, this is an interesting question, and one that I do believe has a very obvious answer, but can Supergirl break the streak? Which one are we talking about here? Hollywood hasn't had a successful female superhero movie since Zack Snyder's Wonder Woman. Depend on your metric for success, because like it or not, Captain Marvel did make over $1 billion, so that is categorically a success. Now, not less said about the sequel, the better, but Wonder Woman came out before Captain Marvel. And it depends on how much you want to chalk up to the female representation in some of those team-up films. That's something else to consider, but in the confines of DC, like, how many female first superhero movies has there been? I don't think there is one. I might be forgetting something, but after Wonder Woman, you had Wonder Woman 84 in 2020, but then you had that goofy period of the not rock DCEU and the holdover stuff. So yeah, I would suppose that this is probably the first opportunity, and well, don't really have a lot of hope. The only thing that might save this movie is Jason Momoa's Lobo, who saw big success with the first Aquaman, and the sequel, mega bombed. Not really. It actually made like a strange amount of money at the box office, but with that said, this film is going to be fighting an uphill battle because recently, as in like the past couple of days, Supergirl star and yes, the lead villain, Matthias Schoenaerts, I think I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but close enough, has been sentenced to 6 months in prison in Belgium. Okay, cool, so he'll get out right ahead of the press tour. Like, holy shit, man, what are we doing out here? So last September, we learned that the Belgian actor Matthias Schoenaerts had been tapped to play the lead villain in Supergirl opposite Millie Alcock. Schoenaerts, best known for his role in The Old Guard, is taking the role of Krem of the Yellow Hills. I'll take your word for it. The Big Bad and Tom King and Bilquis Evely's Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow comic book. Krem kills the father of the young alien girl and then enlists the Maiden of Might to join her revenge mission. Spoilers? Jesus. However, the actor may struggle to fulfill his promotional obligations next summer. Wow, this is a DC staple, huh? If we're talking about mega bombs from DC, doesn't this ring a little bit closer, not to Wonder Woman, but more to The Flash? Anyways, Belgian news outlet VRT News has revealed that the police saw Schoenaerts riding his motorbike in Pelt Limburg on 2 occasions in April of 2024 without a valid driving license. He's already been banned from driving in Antwerp in September of 2021 and has been caught driving under the influence of drugs and then failed to retake a compulsory recovery test and exam. And here's the kicker. It's like, why did this guy get hired to begin with? Because, as the outlet explained, well, might as well read that. This does not mean that the actor will have to go to prison immediately. He can still lodge an appeal, which I'm sure he will, but I don't know if it's going to fall on deaf ears or not, because he has also been reportedly convicted 11 times in the past. Not once, not twice, but 11 fucking times. He did not appear in court yesterday and subsequently been sentenced to 6 months imprisonment in absentia and has also been fined 4,000 euros. That seems it's like, okay, 6 months imprisonment or a $4,000 fine, okay, and received a 1-year driving ban. You get locked up or snatched up 11 different times and you only get a 1-year driving ban? I mean, it's kind of some crazy Belgian laws that you guys have out there. How much of a disaster is this for the DCU? Well, it's just kind of something else to throw on the pile, I guess. That remains to be seen. It's obviously not a great look for the main villain of the upcoming Supergirl movie to be facing a prison sentence. And the big bad for one of the, modern seminal runs for Supergirl. So were there plans for him moving forward? I'm unfamiliar with the story. I know some of the broad beats, but I don't ultimately know his fate or how long his stories run. But if they're not wanting to turf major characters like that, I mean, it's going to pose a bit of a problem. But yes, we don't know whether DC Studios was aware of Schoenaerts' driving convictions when he was cast. I mean, you kind of got a bit of a record. Okay, this isn't the first time, like I said, and like it was stated, 11 different times. And there's been no word on them on this news as we write this. In June, DC Studios co-CEO James Gunn was asked about casting Millie Alcock as the Maiden of Might, a decision made before Craig Gillespie was hired. I wanted her for this little pixie-ish but very attitudinal character. Are you just making up words, James? Millie was the first person I brought up. Gunn later credited Gillespie with amping up the villainous Krem of the Yellow Hills, a character who debuted in Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow comic book. Dude, wait till you see how scary he is in the movie. Yes, and also, if you want a little bit of a preview, wait until you see how scary he is when he gets behind the wheel of a vehicle. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Coswell. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.